7 years ago, actually.
7 years ago.
Yeah. I was one of the very early adopter of Bitcoin technology, yeah, and blockchain layer.
And what do you think about Bitcoin?
Well, back to then, I feel it's awesome. I mean, technology-wise, thinking like, oh, you can build a payment protocol without like backing by some company.
Yeah.
I think that's one of like nice approach. So that's why I just thought like choose to trust it without any like judgment or actually like fully understand what Satoshi said in the white paper.
Yeah.
And yeah, it turns out like it's really a like right decision to just blindly trust it. Yeah.
So, you know, Bitcoin, it seems like there's no one really like controlling it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Litecoin, you got Charlie Lee.
Yeah.
Ethereum, you got Vitalik. Brody, you got
me.
Sam.
Okay. Yeah.
Bitcoin, there's like no one really at the top.
Yes.
Do you see that as just as an advantage for Bitcoin or a disadvantage?
I think it's an advantage.
It's an
First
advantage.
of all, you don't have to, because you have no contact to the founder of Bitcoin.
Right.
So Bitcoin get listed by all the exchanges. Because you basically have no way to talk to them, negotiate with them some business. And that's why Bitcoin standard is very like, you know, objective project for now. But there's also a problem because without a founder, it's very hard to evolve and, you know, like evolve as fast as those other projects who are backed by some, or like founded by some known founder. Yeah. So it comes with like pros and cons. Yeah.
What do you think about Bitcoin in like 5-10 years?
I mean, a lot of people believe it, and I believe it too. I mean, each Bitcoin may worth like $1 million. I truly believe it because it will become a kind of like representative of the physical wealth plus like virtual wealth. So, and for me, like if you think about like this word, the words actually are composed of multiple layers. So like, you know, like there's layers of countries, right? Like different countries like made out of this word. But the word also made up by, like for example, religions. There's people who choose like believe in this religion. Some people like believe in that religion. So it's a freedom of religion, and there's freedom of country. And there's also another part, which the world is composed of like different. You can tell it's like a region of internet. So internet is one of another layer, right? But if you think about internet, lack of like a protocol of payments or a protocol of like of representing the wealth of the internet. Yeah. And I think Bitcoin can be one of, actually it's the only one choice to become of, to make it like a, you know, like make this true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. Do you know a lot of the Bitcoin core developers?
I know some, like Jeff, Gavin Anderson. I know most people from like people who are like willing to, you know, to increase the block size because I'm like on that side. Yeah, I hope Bitcoin can increase the block size itself instead of now that so many hard forks and Bitcoin stay without any change forever. Right now, one transaction costs like $30, and I actually like really like make a transaction which like cost me $30 worth Bitcoin to just make that transaction happen, which sucks. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Back to 1 year ago, I make a joke like Bitcoin can increase, like the price of Bitcoin will increase a lot because the transaction fee is so high and nobody is willing to move from the wallet to the exchange. So that's like the supply on the exchange is really low and the price will go up because of the demand, right? So I mean, for now it's even like it happens exactly that way. I mean, there's a lot of other reasons why Bitcoin increased so much, the price of it increased so much, but that's one of the reasons. It's like the problem of the block size of Bitcoin actually helps the price of Bitcoins in short term. But long term wise, I think that's a problem. When you think of like, we really want to use Bitcoin as a protocol in the internet world. So yeah, I think it will cause a lot of like issue long term wise. Yeah. I mean, that's my personal opinion though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why like after like in 2014 now I start to look like alternative of Bitcoin, and that's why like Ethereum came into my like basically like take my attention, and I participated in ICO, and I start to kind of like all in or become one of the true believer of Ethereum since like 2014. Yeah, and you can tell like that's what drives the whole like blockchain evolution now. Even though there's a lot of other like public chains, and they are all building and with different philosophy technologies, but if you literally or like seriously think about that, Ethereum is what drives the whole like the wave of this crowd sale, ICO, as well as like the creativity of different blockchain technologies. Yeah, I think Ethereum is one of the big thing like given for the past few years. Yeah, and yeah, this year I mean, I just now like while I was with my team members, I tell them like 2014 is a big year for all those true believers in blockchain and digital currencies, and this year 2018 I believe is the year for almost everyone, like including people maybe trade on stock of some company or public people who just learn Bitcoin or blockchain. I mean, everyone will join in and enjoy like what the gain they get from this industry, but definitely there will be some bubble or some like big events or big marketing like pump and dump
correction going on.
For this year or maybe next year. I think this year gonna be big because the blockchain will go to the mainstream.
Where does Litecoin stand with all this?
I personally like I really don't like those hustle or like with minor change and become one of the alternative of Bitcoin, because that's not enough. If you so that goes back to like what do I think about hard fork, right? If hard fork can have some value, that means Bitcoin is start to become another type of fiat, right? You can basically hold the Bitcoin and you can sell the hard fork to basically use the money for some purpose, and you can. It sounds like, oh, Bitcoin is so valuable, but if you think about that, Bitcoin now start to become one of the bubble, which when Satoshi found the Bitcoin, he write on the Genesis block like Bitcoin was born to prevent the bubble. And now, because of the hard fork, Bitcoin actually drive another bubble in the blockchain industry, which is very like ironic. So I really don't like this happens. Or like, now talk about Litecoin. I think it has great community, and it has kind of like become a testing bed for Bitcoin's technology, like Lightning Network. They start to enable that SegWit, they start to enable that faster than Bitcoin, and community agree to act as like kind of like more aggressive way to evolve the system. It's good. And I don't believe it will go to zero. I think it will have intrinsic value because it's kind of like complementary of Bitcoin.
Okay.
But personally, I as a people with engineering background, I prefer like blockchain with real technology, like breakthrough.
Okay.
Such as what?
I mean, 4 years ago, it's Ethereum, right? And now I start to look some other more options. But for now, like there's so many blockchain with new technology, like DAG. There's like a sharding blockchain, like Zelica, right? So I don't know which one will survive. For me, I think this year will become kind of like a year for like different types of blockchain. Both of them will take a part of the market, and together they will form the whole market and drive the whole wave to a higher place. Yeah, I think it won't be like, oh, there's blockchain 3.0. Like if you say like Ethereum is blockchain 2.0, I don't think there will be like one standalone blockchain will become 3.0. I believe like the whole, like all those different types of blockchain will be together will define this. So think about like Web 2.0, right? Now it was clearly defined, but now what's Web 3.0? There's nothing. It's actually, if you really want to define Web 3.0, it's Google plus, Facebook plus, Twitter plus, LinkedIn plus everything. All those apps become Web 3.0. Same thing for blockchain. I believe now blockchain 3.0, it's actually like consists of all different type of blockchains. And I used to give a metaphor like, oh, it's like HTTP is become, if you tell like that's a one protocol, it's not just like a tree, right? Grow up and so many companies build application on top of this protocol, on this tree. Now think about blockchain industry, it's even like more interesting is because now Bitcoin is one protocol, Ethereum is one of another protocol, and eventually there will be more and more protocol, and every protocol is a tree. And when they form together, it becomes a forest.
Yeah.
And that's even like stronger ecosystem.
Yeah.
You cannot tell like, oh, there will be one single protocol will kill all the rest. I think different protocol will act different purpose, and together they will become the whole like a very great ecosystem to bring this blockchain revolution to the real world. Yeah, that's my.
What role does Bodhi play in the forest?
Well, Bodhi, we actually really like, a lot of people, oh, we are another blockchain, we want to be another platform, but we actually, it's a kind of a decentralized application. We are willing to become an application to build on top of other public blockchain. Why we choose that way? Because for us, my vision is like, to make this whole ecosystem survive, you gotta have real applications built on top of that. And right now, the blockchain lack of a lot of very useful, like a protocol built on top of that. So that's why Bodhi comes out. We want to become a prediction market built on top of blockchain like algorithms. But for me, like algorithms, the Oracle's mechanism is really broken. Like if hacker can break the Oracle one time, there's no way to fix it. And people start to lose the confidence and trust of the platform. So that's why we have this replaceable Oracle mechanism to fix what Augur and Gnosis, like the problem they cannot address. So that's why we, like what problem we try to solve. But again, like people will say like, eventually you are just building some betting system. Our argument is this, we actually building this enable a fundamental financial protocol built on top of blockchain. Why? Because if you think about the financial system, they are all built on top of betting. When you like make any like investment decision, you are actually betting on the future. Like your choice is gonna be right? So that's why we choose prediction market, because it's a perfect fit with what digital currency, blockchain, Bitcoin, etc. bring to us. Eventually, it will become one of the key components of financial system, but this is lack of a lot of key components. I think betting system, for betting on almost anything, it's one of the key components that's necessary and needed in the future. So that's why we choose to build this prediction market on. For now, it's on quantum, but eventually we're going to build on like Ethereum or other like Ethereum EVM compatible public chains. Try to enable everyone to make prediction on top of blockchain, and you will see like with this almost free betting system, now valuable information is tradable on top of blockchain, and it will drive like another like maybe like revolution or another wave to encourage people to use or adopt blockchain technology.
So there's already been lots of betting systems
Yes.
trying to predict the future.
Yes.
What makes you guys different than
For us, they are all like centralized.
They're
If you-
centralized,
Yeah,
that's the difference.
Yeah, if you think about that, they are all centralized. Even our gnosis, like I said, they're decentralized, but they are attackable. You can, like, after people create an event, pick an oracle, as a hacker, I can DDoS it. I can manipulate that. And when they're successful one time, they are screwed up. So, which means they have single point of failure. And that's why what we want to address. Yeah, like I say, replaceable oracle system mechanism.